How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
Good. So happy to have you back. Thank you so much.
It's an honor to be back. Thank you for asking me again.
Oh no, absolute pleasure. You're one of my best VIPs, in my one of my loyal customers, and everything you say is just gold. So I was very keen to get you back on here. So tell me, who are you? Give us a little bit of a background. Give us a little bit of background to yourself, who you are, your family, etc.
So my name's Kerrie, obviously, and I am 50 years old. I have a 10-year-old son and a 26-year-old daughter, um, and I live a busy lifestyle. I don't have a lot of time for me. But that's not being a martyr. That's just life. And
That's every woman, right?
yeah,
We're doing everything. We're doing the
100%.
family. We're doing the cooking. We're
Yeah,
doing the cleaning.
yeah.
We're working as well.
This morning, setting up this, I was coming in with the groceries, the cat's bringing in a bird. I'm on with IT trying to set up the computer, and here we are, and we did it.
We
Let's
did
do
it.
it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. You're a superwoman.
yeah, and it was nice. Why do I love By Beth? Because it works. Um, I like it just does on a multitude of levels. Holistically, as a woman, it's nice to be able to do something for yourself that is easy to do, it easy to incorporate into your lifestyle, um, and know that if there's nothing else that you can do in your day, if you don't have the time and you're giving your all to either work or your children or the family or pets or someone, that you've done that for yourself. And then it just does the rest, you know. Um, the thing that you have to commit to, in my opinion, is consistency. It's not something that you do or I have done one day and leave it for a few days. It's really become part of my life, a ritual, and I just swear by it. And I don't think about it really. I I do when I'm running out. I think about it, but the trade offs to it haven't been the positive trade offs to it. I haven't been seeking for.
Mm.
The reason why I think I told in my original story was the effect that it had on my eczema, which was just for me unbelievable. That's something that had I'd lived with my entire life, and just kind of gone, well, I have to accept this. I'd done everything, every oil, every dermatologist, and it was just one of those things that I was like, well, I've got eczema, I'm always going to be covered in it, and using locoid creams, um, and yeah, it was kind of it happened, that discovery, by accident. Um, I don't know if those have seen the original interview or chats that we'd had, but it was during lockdown, and then I ran out of it, and because of that delay in currying and whatnot, I didn't know if it was the Beth or if it was the collagen. But when it about 10 days after I stopped, it came back, because I was trying to figure out, was it because I wasn't working so intensely? I wasn't having to do the sports runs and the school runs and packed lunches and work and rosters. I was thinking maybe the stress being reduced was what affected, because stress can affect eczema. But it wasn't. And within 4 or 5 days of receiving my, you know, my the green envelope, I was like, yay, the holy grail. Honestly, I was like, wow, to the point that I let my dad know about it, because that's his side of the family. I inherited that atopic kind of tendencies from, and my father's on it, my daughter's on it. I just, yeah, dad has that with his green, whatever green powder, matcha powder, but we're all on it,
That's
and it's nourishing everything from within. It's like without getting into, I mean, I've done research on scientific words, but if we're talking just a woman to a bunch of women and we just want to understand, it's like an internal oiling, lubrication, and nourishment. And just, it's like a bassinet. It creates like a bassinet. Do you know what I mean? For everything else. Because if our gut is healthy, you've spoken of that. It's like your second brain. So we need to keep ourselves emotionally and spiritually well. That's one thing. But we also have to keep internally, well. And if that was removed, what would be running our body and keeping us in tune would be our gut. So if
And
you put
has your dad felt the change?
oh, absolutely. I mean, some things, let's be honest, it's not a cure
No.
to
Mhm.
everything, and those
It's a piece of
skin,
the puzzle.
yeah, absolutely. That has it. How I see it and how I um, pass on the knowledge and the passion to other women is that it's slowing down the aging process. It's not going to reverse things, though it will. I have noticed. I mean, I don't have anything in my face. I'm um, completely me and proud to be. But it just so for me, I have noticed a bit of softening of the fine lines, but I didn't take it for that. I got hooked on it for one reason and one reason alone. The Like I said, but the other positive trade offs that have come with it have been incredible. Which I've asked you multiple questions of my eyesight improved. We then found out that it's got an amino acid. Is it leucine? Leucine,
Yes.
yeah. Which you know, co- collagen isn't necessarily ingested to improve eyesight, but it could be a small trade off. And
Mm.
but that's just one. Multitudes of people say to me, "Oh, Kerrie, what skincare are you using? What
I
oil?"
think that's the true test, isn't it? Like when someone actually just comes up to you
Yeah,
randomly and says, "What are you doing to your skin? Your skin is glowing." Like,
yeah,
and I mean, on that same note, I was in Woolworths yesterday, and just a random guy came up to me. And he was an old guy. I mean, he was
yeah,
innocent, but he was
yeah,
like, "Oh my God, your hair is amazing!" Like, and I was just like, "Thank you." And it's those random statements that just
yeah,
remind us, okay, yes, everything we're doing is working.
yeah. And look, it doesn't. It's not a 5 minute fix. I mean, I was consistent because of, and I'm grateful for that because I wonder if because everything now is so instant, more so with our children than our more my generation, but still we've got used to that instant fix. But I stuck with it because it's the only thing that's ever relieved me of the anguish of my eczema. I mean, when you grow up, everyone has one thing I believe that they could say in their life if they could take away or change. My daughter would probably say it's your feet, and but for me, it was like just rid me of this eczema. It's killing me. Like
Yeah, I mean,
uh,
Justin's the same. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but he has the psoriasis. Well, he
yeah,
did. He had the psoriasis on his face, and he takes the collagen every day, and that
yeah,
has just really done wonders for him.
yeah,
And for me, as you're probably aware, it was the skin rashes. So I've
yeah,
I've had little bits of eczema too, which I
yeah,
don't get anymore because of the collagen.
yeah,
But the huge factor, the huge takeaway from me was all the skin rashes, which I started
yeah,
getting from when I was 6, and no
yeah,
one knew what on earth this is because no traditional doctors, they don't believe in the connection between the gut and the
mm,
skin and the gut and the brain, all of that.
yeah,
So they were just prescribing me antihistamines, and one skin doctor even wanted to prescribe me Phenergan for 6 months because my body's like just covered head to toe in rashes. Thank
yeah.
God my mum realized that was a ridiculous
Oh,
idea.
that's the antihistamine.
Well, Phenogon's an antihistamine, but it's
Yeah,
also a sedative. So I would have been asleep for 6 months, like literally.
yeah,
And thank God she said no. But it wasn't until later in life that I started going to naturopaths and they started teaching me the connection between the gut and the skin, the gut skin connection. But
mm.
yeah, for me, just back onto your eczema. I'm so sorry, I'm getting
No,
sidetracked.
I
I'm
know.
so happy to hear that, and to correlate in terms of skin problems. Mine was rashes, and my
Yeah,
husband was psoriasis.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's amazing. It really does just fix all those skin problems, not just the wrinkles and the fine lines, but actual skin issues which are established and coming from a gut issue,
Yeah.
right? So this is resolving those from the inside out. It's actually solving the problem rather than going and buying
Topical.
cortisol cream and
Yeah.
all these whatever concoctions are out there now, which are band-aid solutions by
Mm.
applying them on the skin and which are also really bad for your skin, like
Oh,
cortisol.
I used to use a locoid cream. Like
Mm.
I'm talking 3 or 4 years ago. Like not well, not even as an eye cream
Yeah,
because
yeah.
all around my eyes was so dry and crackly. It was the only thing that would take away, and I would get salt water. This was recommended to me by a doctor. Get salt water because it was all dry and like flaking off, like disgusting. And I would get a cotton bud and put the salt water on my skin to help really dry it off so I could flake it off.
Mm.
Like just
Yeah.
it was not a fun
I
time.
had, yeah, I'm with you. I had the flaking like during breastfeeding because
Yeah.
my skin just was sucked dry.
Mm.
And I was literally like, you know, when you get dandruff that falls off your hair and you like always brushing it off your shoulder? It was
Yeah.
like that. It was falling off my face and onto my shirt. And it was so embarrassing. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I felt so embarrassed because then it didn't matter how much cream I was putting on my face
Mm.
or how much, expensive makeup I was applying, you could still see it. You could see it through
Yeah.
there and it just kept flaking. And that was big. So for me, skin rashes and
Mm.
yes, same as you, the flaking of the skin,
But
that's been my life changing.
the other thing that I've really enjoyed, and it's not loving hearing other people's problems, is that you're not alone. We as women, I'm not the only one that's had this problem post breastfeeding or growing up my whole life, and neither are you. But it's when you're discussing um, a product that you're passionate about with other ladies, and they can see your passion. You couldn't pay someone that amount of money because it's authentic and it's genuine. They start sharing their story or their problems authentically with you, and
Mm.
then it's almost like a support group.
Yeah.
It's been a really beautiful thing to get involved with, separate from the the cosmetic side of things. And I really enjoy it. I'm constantly trying to think of new ways of incorporating into my life, into the kids' lives. I mean, even I was at the hair salon a couple of days ago, and my hairstylist was just like, "You've just got so much hair, like and she's knowing my, she's like, you've just got so there's because my hair's really
Mine's like
fine.
I
Yeah,
can't even get it into the frame.
yeah, but as far as like normally when you're 50, it starts falling
Yeah.
out,
And
and
thinning.
yeah.
And thinning as well. And during the pregnancies and the breastfeeding as well. That's particularly when you get all those flyaways and it's
Oh,
thinning.
absolutely. And she was saying to me that she was like, oh my, because I was having my foils done. She was like, you've got all these like baby hairs on your neckline. And I was like, well, I must be growing new hair. Now, that is not why I've got enough hair. That's not why I'm taking the Beth. But again, it's just another positive trade off. And the amount, honestly, I've had just most days he'll ask me what serums I'm using on my skin.
Yeah,
What
because that's the
serums
old
are
way of thinking, right? Everyone assumes
it's
to solve a
topical.
problem on the outside, you
Yeah.
need to apply something on the outside.
Yeah. So I mean, granted, I use you know I use a basic, very basic cleanser from the supermarket, but I use the Toucher, the purple rice trick, but that's it. Not
Mm.
around my eyes. Or I use love my Dr. Dennis. I think you put me onto that,
Mhm.
but that's it. Like I
Yeah.
don't.
So,
Yeah, and there is just there's no need to, I think, hide behind a
yeah.
mask of makeup. This is a point in time, and that we all have that occasion, be it a birthday or a function, where we want to, you know, do ourselves up a wee bit more. Hello, we're women. We all do that, but on an everyday basis, there's no there's no need to have to cover it up. In fact, it's almost like you want to, why don't we like expose everything and get it healthy? And I just, I honestly, I don't have. There's been nobody that I have put onto the By Beth product that has said it's not working. I don't like it. I do mention to them, look, if you don't, if it doesn't work or it's not for you, Beth will give you your money back. By Beth will give you your money back. And from my experience, the only person that ever said anything that could have been wasn't negative, it was just wanting a change, was, I think I'd like to try the wood and spice over the fruit and floral. I mean, like, if that's as bad as the feedback gets,
That's
um,
awesome. But that's
yeah.
right. I mean, and that's it. I'm so glad that you're letting everyone know that too. We've
Mm,
got that 8 week guarantee.
mm,
And that's so important to me. I mean, as you know, because people are hesitant in the beginning, and I don't blame them. I was so hesitant in the
yeah,
beginning, when I was trying, a plethora of other ways to try and solve my skin problems, my
yeah,
skin rashes, and my flaking. So that's why it's so important to me to offer that, because I want people to feel like it's safe. Okay, I'll invest in this because,
yeah,
like you said, it's an investment. It's not
yeah,
purchasing something. And if I don't like it, if it's not for me, no problem. We've got that guarantee there. You
yeah.
will give us the product back, and we will refund you, no questions
And look,
asked.
and I say to my people, you know, give it a couple of months. I think you say 6 to 8 weeks, but it's kind of like the gift that keeps on giving. You know,
It is, isn't it? It is. It's like you start off small and you're like, oh, that's nice. I like
yeah,
that. And then you just, as you take it more and more and more, it gets better and better, and you get more and more benefits that come
yeah,
in the results that you're after. Because
yeah,
then also after a couple of months, your energy starts going through the roof, and you get all these little bonuses. Like
yeah.
the one I had today was someone's telling me that they're now regular. I mean, that's
Ah,
not what we're
hey,
advertising for, but that is a huge win. Exactly. We all need to be regular. So,
yeah. Well,
yeah,
it
that's it.
means that they're working. That's healthy.
Yes,
You
it
know.
is. That means it's fixing your gut. And
Oh
again,
my
like that
gosh.
is so it's so important, because we need to have a healthy gut in order
Mm,
to have a healthy body in every single
absolutely.
facet. From the mind to the skin to the hair to the energy.
Mm,
And on that note, that's one of the really big things I'm seeing in a lot of people in their reviews. They're saying their energy is just
mm,
going through the roof.
yeah.
And not straight away, because, like you said, it does take a few weeks. You've got
Mm,
like this empty collagen bucket
mm,
that you've got to slowly fill up. And
yeah.
unfortunately, there's holes in this bucket too
Yeah.
because of our age. So
Yeah.
you have to keep replenishing, and it's still coming up. You keep replenishing, 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 and the benefits get better and better. And
Who
I
was
think the icing on the cake is the energy. I
Yeah,
love
who
that.
was
I
the
mean,
guy that I loved? He's a darling. He was the one that said this little oh, magic bottle. What was his name?
Kent, yes.
Oh, I
He's
loved
like,
it.
this
Oh
little
my
jar of
goodness.
magic makes my skin glow. I'm like,
Yeah,
tagline. I don't need this.
absolutely. But I watched it, and he was
Interview over.
we went up to Tiari for 10 days to surf camp, and I did take my little travel sachets because it's so easy. That's the other thing. By Beth makes everything so easy, but just what you need to calculate how much you need to take. I think I ran out on day 4, but it's kind of you notice when you stop. And when he said that, because I quite often go back and watch the TikToks and whatnot, um, and because I enjoy them, and
Yeah.
you can never stop learning or getting someone else's point of view or feedback,
Yeah.
something for
I
me to
love
tell
learning.
my people, and I watched his again just because he's so gorgeous, and yeah, it is. It's when you stop that I think you really notice it more.
Yeah.
And my daughter, she's on it, and she's a color technician, and she's done all the different because of hair college, and she's absolutely hooked on it, and now she's telling her customers about it because her
Oh,
customers
good.
are asking her why her, because she's got curly hair, but she straightens it. It's suddenly gone from this length, like not quite as long as yours, but yeah, and but she stopped too because she went up to Ahipara for a while and ran out, and she said exactly the same thing. And it's when you stop where you notice that there's like a luster that's gone,
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
a it's like the dewiness. I don't know what the word is, but you kind
Yeah.
of look flat. And it's almost, I've almost wanted to suggest to people stop for a month.
Yeah, no, no,
Or
seriously,
don't
you
want
should.
to.
Yeah, I dare you.
Yeah,
Because, well, the other one is when they try another brand. I actually really like that because I
yeah,
was at the hairdresser yesterday getting my color done,
yeah,
and my not my main colorist, but someone that was washing my hair in the sink, and they were saying, yeah, they switched brands. Like she was really sheepish when she was telling me, and I was like, that's okay. Everyone's got different reasons. You want to try something different. She switched brands, and she said
yeah,
no. She said she's just everything's gone
yeah,
downhill. And
yeah,
I, and she switched to marine as well. And I went back and I explained to her why there's a difference between marine and bovine. But yeah,
yeah,
she said the same thing. It's like when you stop or when you switch brands and you
yeah,
see the change or the decline, yeah,
yeah.
that's when you know
I
that
felt
you're doing
I
the right
felt
thing.
like I didn't look grey. That was wrong. But we're hard on ourselves. But to me, I was like, oh my gosh, I look really grey and dull. But it was just a brightness. And I think too, when everything positive feeds off, like I've always said to my kids, which is not to do with eating, but even about energy when they were little. So this is, well, if you give out butterflies, meaning like energy or positivity, you're going to get lots of beautiful butterflies back. But if you
Mm,
give out negativity and yucky stuff, you're going to get that back. So my take on it is when you're feeding yourself with goodness or good energy, you spiritually feel like you've done something well, you glow from within, then people are attracted to that. They make comment. They want a part of that too. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And it
yeah.
just keeps growing and growing. And I think a lot of it might be from internal joy and happiness and feeling good. And it's so important whether you're. I am time poor, and I'm not going to be a martyr about it. It's just the way my life is. But I do one thing for myself, and that's take my by Beth, you know, without fail. I mean, I've just shared with Beth. I've only just come through my first journey of
And like you said, it's easy, right? Like you touched on that. Like you're really time poor, and
yeah,
100% we all are. And
yeah,
what it's do you want to spend a lot of time in the bathroom applying the makeup or trying to fix your hair or we all want to do these things for ourselves, but we all
yeah,
run out of time to do them for ourselves. And this is that really one quick 30-second thing
mm,
that you can do for yourself, and you know that it is going to nourish you for the entire
yeah,
day and start rejuvenating
yeah,
yourself, your hair, your skin, your nails. It's going to
mm,
look after you in that quick 30 seconds.
yeah. And
So
the information's there too. I mean, you get your people that question it, and that's good if people have got questions. But I sometimes say to people, well, when you're going to purchase your, whether it's marine, and I explain the difference between marine and bovine. But separate from that, I say ask the person that's selling you the product how many kilodaltons
mm,
their collagen is, and they look at me like something. What? I'm like, well, we'll ask them, and I say because by Beth's 1.5, and they're like, what's kilodaltons? And then I explain to them that that's the size of the molecule, and unless it's lower than 1.8, you're basically you're just paying out your money. Let's put it straight,
yeah,
So
it's a waste.
and if you go to purchase it from someone that knows about the product that they're selling, and they can't answer the question how many kilodaltons is their product, I just say don't buy it, because if they knew, if it was if they know how many kilodaltons is, they'll know that they'll want it to be less than 1.8, because 1.8, correct, it needs to be
Yeah,
to be in,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. In
um
order to absorb it.
Yeah, absolutely. So if they can't answer the question, walk away.
I love how much you know about this. It's so good. It's the
Well,
same with hydrolyzed, right? And that's a thing. And
absolutely.
just to explain it to people, because Killer Dalton's is going to make a lot of people go like, "What?" Um, it comes down to molecular size, right?
Mm,
And in order to penetrate and the lining of our stomach,
mm,
and in order for the collagen or whatever you're ingesting, any supplement, in order for it to go through the lining of the stomach and be absorbed by the body,
mm.
it has to be a certain size. And so, for instance, we make wonderful bone broths. Like I make chicken bone broth every day, and my kids eat it every day, and wonderful superfood.
Yeah,
However, the molecular size of the collagen in the bone broth is too large for our body to absorb it and have the impact that a hydrolyzed collagen has. So
yeah.
that's why it goes through the process called hydrolyzation, where we're
Mm,
literally getting a molecule, let's say it's this size, and we're reducing it down to like a tiny, tiny size
mm.
so that it can be absorbed through the body and it can, go through the lining of the stomach. So,
Yeah, and that's a
I
heat
mean,
process,
that's
isn't
it
it?
in a nutshell. What's
It's a
that, sorry?
it's a natural kind of heat process, isn't it? The
It,
hydrolyzation.
it, it's literally the same machine as baby formula.
Okay. Yeah.
It is literally they go. It's basically you dehydrate the like the broth,
Yeah.
and then after that it goes through the process of reducing the molecular
Yeah.
size. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Um, and it's fascinating, but like there's a lot of collagen on the market that's not hydrolyzed. So that's step number one is check it's
Mm,
hydrolyzed, because then
mm.
you know it's at least gone through the process of changing the molecular size.
Yeah.
And step number two is what you said, is check the kilodalton size, because
Yeah.
you want to check how much they have reduced the molecular size. Because if they
Yeah.
haven't reduced it enough, it's like you said, it's like you're drinking it and then you're peeing it out. You're not absorbing it.
Yeah, and it's very expensive pee, that's for sure. Yeah, but I sometimes will go, I'm naughty, I don't have that much time on my hands, but I have seen a few kind of, and I'll be like, oh gosh, has it been hydrolyzed? And you get this kind of stare, and they just this
Mm.
blanks there. So the kilodaltons just they look
No.
at you with this.
Yeah.
I'll just have to get my manager,
Yeah.
but and it's something that yeah, I just think if something's wonderful,
Mm.
the person is going to have that answer. So I am not someone to say you must only buy Beth. However, buy something that the person who's selling it to you can give you all the information, have those answers be what you want to hear, like the size of the molecular level, it has been hydrolyzed, and just have it work for you. I mean, I can't understand because I'm vegetarian.
Mhm.
So people say to
Oh, that's
me,
interesting. You're vegetarian and you take the bovine collagen.
yes,
Okay.
because bovine collagen is more compatible with us as humans. And people have questioned that. It's my choice and it's everyone's personal choice. But having your type 1 and type 3 collagen together is going to do, hair, skin, and nails, and your gut health. Whereas if my concern was only hair, skin, and nails, and I was absolute right wing vegetarian, then maybe I would just take a marine collagen. But I'm not. And my whole thing was it's the gut health component
Mm.
of taking the collagen that's improved my
And I
eczema.
think I think that people underestimate
Mm,
the impact of gut health,
yeah,
and that's it. Like maybe optimizing their skin is actually the only thing they're really after, but they're
mm,
not realizing a really key component to that is your gut health.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah,
You can't have healthy skin without a healthy gut.
yeah.
So this is
Yeah.
saving you from buying other products to support your gut, because it's a two
Yeah.
in one.
Oh, I love the wooden spice. It's my absolute favorite. My coffee doesn't taste the same without it now. I can't. And actually, if I don't put it in my coffee, I think the coffee tastes awful. I've got so
That's
used
so
to it.
funny.
Yeah, but
See, most people assume the wooden spice is really strong and spicy and overpowering, but like you said, it's a bit like a herbal tea. It's like really soft and subtle, right?
it's lovely. It's really really lovely. Yeah, and yeah. I mean, I use them all in my cooking. I use the collagen.
Mm.
I mean, use the collagen. Use the original. It's what I sneak into Fletcher's water bottle. he doesn't even know he has it. But it's so phenomenal for immunity. And yeah, it's I mean, I really couldn't fault it. And but consistency, that's the thing that I suppose, the girls at work call me. I think I've told you that, the Bible basher. But is just be consistent, and don't give up. And it's not $5. No, it's not. But it's also not the most expensive per gram of all edible, cold collagens. And to me, it's just it is an investment. I mean, so
Yeah.
if you think about what you're not having to buy to cover up, or to repair, or to fix, or the pills, or the visits to the doctor, you know you're you're saving money.
Mm.
Girl maths, it's basically free, you know but
Exactly,
but
exactly. And like on that note too, there's a reason why we're higher priced. And like it's the
yeah.
quality that you were just talking
Mm,
about. Like
mm,
if you look at the competitors, number one, they actually don't even know where half the time their product is coming from. Or
yeah,
when it is, they won't tell you because it's coming from fish farms in Asia.
yeah,
Whereas I know specifically where these cows are grown. And thank God
yeah.
they're being grown in Australia, which,
Mm,
like New Zealand, is
mm,
one of the highest regulated agricultural industries in the world. So
mm,
these cows are grass fed, pasture raised. We know
yeah.
how even they're treated. When
Mm,
you pull a product from another country that is often unregulated, which is often the case in a lot of these Asian countries,
yeah,
and you're utilizing you don't know what you're getting, in other words. And what we do know through a lot of scientific studies is the level of toxicities in
mm,
these fish farms, particularly like any fish farm, but
yeah,
particularly the fish farms coming out of Asia, which are
mm,
very unregulated and their waters are already polluted.
yeah,
The toxicity levels are really high. So
yeah,
yes, you can get a cheaper collagen than me, 100%.
mm,
But what are you getting? What are you getting? Are you getting it
yeah,
hydrolyzed? It'll be cheaper if it's not hydrolyzed because we've gone through that process.
yeah,
Are you getting it clean? Is it
mm,
clean? You're not
mm,
getting it clean if it's coming from a fish farm. That I can
mm,
tell you,
yeah,
and particularly if it's coming from a fish farm in Asia. But the people the companies that do that won't tell you that. Like it won't
no,
be on the product, obviously.
yeah,
And that's something that people I'm proud of. Actually, there's a reason why, is because I don't want to sacrifice anything for our health. And
yeah,
I've made sure that I've given you the absolute highest quality I possibly can. And in order to do that, that's a higher cost. To get
yeah.
products from Australia, that's a higher cost than getting the same product from Asia or from overseas. But that is the only way I can make sure that this is pure.
But
And
also too, at the same time, and credit to you, which people don't know about behind the scenes, is that I know that you are doing everything you can to make the delivery of the product less expensive for people outside of Australia.
yes,
And is someone that, like, someone that wouldn't care, someone that's just doing it for the money, that doesn't
yes.
care about the people, reaching the people, they wouldn't care. It's not my money. If they want it,
Mm.
they have to pay for it. Whereas, Beth at the moment is in discussions about setting up different distribution centers in different parts of the world so that it
Are
can
you
reach.
letting out my secret,
No,
or should we? No, let's just announce it. Why not? Let's announce it. What are we doing, Kerrie? What are we doing for all our New Zealand customers?
so our New Zealand customers have got the same access to the BuyBeth website, and being able to, for what's the give me the word,
Subscriptions,
subscription.
but also just to
Um,
just to make sure that you don't have to pay
yeah,
international postage.
yeah. So normally it used to be about $45 or $50 to get it from Australia to New Zealand. And Beth said to me, I really want the New Zealand customers to benefit from the subscriptions program, and being able to, adapt it to how often they want it and what flavor they want. And but it's so expensive for them
Yeah,
to. And I'm just on the phone going, this is a woman that, you own the business, you develop it, and you're worried about these, and that's so special. And that shows how much you care, and that you want these people to reap the benefits that you and I have. So yeah, it's going to be distributed out of New Zealand now, which is going to reduce the courier expenses like by a quarter, like less than half. Like, I mean, I don't know.
It'll be local postage cost now.
Yeah,
So I mean, the international was like what,
yeah.
$45? You said, yeah.
So it'll be about
Um,
8 or 9.
yeah, it'll be depending on where you live, like
Yeah,
$8 to $10. So
yeah.
that's yeah.
Well,
Like you said. I mean, that was very kind words. Thank you very
no,
much,
but
Kerrie.
it's true because there's a lot of
I mean, I like helping. I like helping people, like you said, that the wonderful customer that came in recently, and to hear those stories.
yeah,
It just warms my heart and it's what makes
yeah,
me get out of bed, honestly.
yeah,
And if I can reduce any barrier or obstacle in people's
mm,
way, and the no-brainer was the postage. So
yeah.
um, we're fixing that together, and we will be launching really soon. I don't have an exact date, but
Yeah.
sometime very, very soon. So I'm
No, and
excited
it's
for our
it's
New
just
Zealand
it's
customers.
and it the whole. I mean, if for those that haven't had the time to go in and read about the subscription and how easy it is and how you can completely control it yourself at no extra cost, and there's no obligations. You can cancel at any time. You can change flavors, quantities, how often you receive. I mean, it's just brilliant. And now, gosh, instead of what, 45, $50, you'll be paying like $8 for New Zealand. It's marvelous, really. Yeah, I'm delighted for everybody else. Yeah, and myself. But
Yeah,
yeah.
fantastic.